Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. Okay, we had a little bit of technical stuff, but that's okay. We are on. We will be great today. Hello, y'all. This is going to be such a fun topic. Okay, and I feel like I usually am talking about like money and interviews and six figures, which don't get me wrong, all of that is great. And all of those lead to us having freedom and flexibility in our career. And I actually today, I've decided I'm going to be talking a little differently to you guys. I want to start talking all around about freedom, flexibility. And I mean your personal freedom, right? Flexibility, family, and how these things really, I don't want to say how they impact our career, but how our career impacts those things, right? Those things that we want, we sometimes get so caught up in our careers and our business and making money that we forget what the very reason is that we are doing these things for, which is having that freedom, having that flexibility, and having time with your family, regardless of what your family looks like. Let me just say that family could be you and your cat, okay? And that is your family. Your family could be you and your best friends, it could be you and your kids, whatever your family looks like. You deserve to spend quality time with them, right? So, this is something I've been talking about with my clients for a while, is really this concept of freedom and freedom, flexibility, and family. And yes, you as a woman of color can have it all. And I'm tired of people saying that we can't. I am a prime example. I'm going to share some of my personal examples and things that I do, some things that I've helped my clients do. And this is going to apply to you whether you have a career, have your own business, or even both. These tips apply. Okay. So start sharing this out. Give me a roll check. Y'all know I always want to know where you joining in from. I am Latrice. Hey, coming to you all by way of Texas, originally from Baltimore. Let me know where you're joining in from. My hashtag team live. If you're team replay, I still like to see. Let me know where you're joining from. We've had people join all over the world and I love it. But if you are a woman of color and you are watching this and you're hearing this and you know another woman of color who is either making six figures, maybe she's making multiple six figures, but she doesn't have the freedom or flexibility that she desires, right? Or let's say you have freedom and flexibility, but you don't have the income that you desire. Let's share this out. Share, tag somebody in the comments who needs to hear this. This is going to be for everybody, okay? First, let me start by saying welcome. Hey, if you all are new to my channel, new to my network, hey, I am Latrice, career and leadership coach to ambitious women of color, and it is my mission and my movement to put more women of color in positions of power and leadership roles. And I love to be like, whatever that position of power looks like for you, you get to define it, okay? And I believe that this mission is so important because when women make more money, when we lead, we change the world. We invest more in our community. We help those around us. We are an example of what's possible. So it has this domino effect. And it is just, and I'm just so honored to always be a part of your lives and your journey as well. Yeah, this weekend I met some people who follow me on LinkedIn, and I met people in person, and it was so awesome. So if you ever see me, y'all know I love meeting people. I am a people person. I love meeting people in person. I'll be like, hey, saying hi and talking same way. Okay, let's get started. I do want to kind of have people in the comments if you have any thoughts, right? Like if you've heard things like we got to work twice as hard for half as much, right? If like you can't have it all, any of those thoughts, comments, questions, start putting them in the comment section now. I want to start dispelling myths. I want to start counteracting any thoughts that we have that are preventing us from getting what we truly want. Okay. So today's topic is all about how to have freedom and flexibility in your career and business, right? As a woman of color. All right. So my number one tip, this is the first thing. You need to define these things for yourself. A lot of times we like, I just need to make more money. And it's like, no, no, because you could do anything and make more money, right? Like, or it's like, I just need to work less. Or sometimes it's like, I just need to work more, hard work, hard work. No, that's not true. I'm going to just sit here and dispel the myth. The less I work, actually, now I've constructed my business in a way that the less I work, the more impact I have and the more money I earn. All right. And this is what I've done. The number one thing that you need to do, and this is the first thing I do, is I define what freedom and flexibility means to me. What does that look like for me? For Latrice. So, whoever's watching, you tell me, give me one thing that looks like. Does it look like for me? I like to take my son and pick my son up from school right now. Maybe I don't always want to do that, but right now, I like to go on my son's field trips. For me, I need time to think. So in the mornings, I like to do my gratitude list. I like to meditate and I like to walk or work out every day. That is my morning. I'm like, I need that. That is what flexibility and freedom looks like to Latrice. All right. It also looks like to me, I like to travel. If y'all know I have gone live, different backgrounds, different places. I'll make it work. But y'all don't know what state I'm gonna be in, what country I'm gonna be in, what relative I'm visiting. That's what it works for me. I love to travel. I have a lot of family that live out of state. I don't have too many family members that live in Texas. So I like to travel and have the flexibility and the freedom to see my family. What does freedom look like to you? What does that mean to you? What is flexibility? Right? Even family, what is that part? Meaning, who are the people that are important and in your life that you want to spend more quality time with? Right? Who are those people? What does that quality time look like? Before we start coming up with what we can do, what we can't do, what we don't have enough money for, what we don't have enough time for, let's just get clear on what we want. How do we define it? That is the first thing. I used to do this every year in January. Now I do it twice a year because I want to check in, make sure, like, okay, you said these things. This is how freedom and flexibility in your family is defined for you. Okay, here's my second thing. Now, have I made it a priority? Have you made it a priority? So that's my second tip. You need to make your freedom, your flexibility, and family, make that a priority. And when I say family, again, you are a member of your family, so your self-care, make it a priority. I cannot we need to type this up. Make it a priority. I cannot stress this enough. I see so many people, they're like, oh, I know what it looks like. I mean, I know what I want. I call it the Cinderella effect. But it's like, I can't have it until all my chores are done. I've had people tell me I can't take a vacation until all the work is done. And I even did work for when I come back, because if I don't, then when I come back, it's going to be too much. It's going to be crazy. What? Like, does that sound rational? Like, does that sound rational? Because there will always be work to do. I've had people tell me they can't take a vacation because if they go on vacation, it's going to be even more work. I'm like, so then now you're just in this cycle. If you go on vacation, you're like, I have to do more than enough work. I'm already working myself to death, and now I have to do more work, right, to make up for being gone. And then if I leave, I'm scared everything that didn't get done when I left, I'm going to have to do again. So then you're like, I just won't leave. No, you have to make yourself a priority. Make what you want a priority. What is that? What you said, that freedom, that flexibility, the family looks like, make now it's a priority. Now it's a priority. When I say priority, what this looks like is saying, okay, I'm purposely going to take some days off to take care of myself, mental health days. What this looks like is I'm going to use my PAL days, my PTO. What this looks like is I'm going to start planning out my vacations now. What this looks like about making you, your family, your freedom, your flexibility a priority. What this looks like right? And applying is okay, I'm going to apply for remote or hybrid roles. If you know you want flexibility and that's what you want, then maybe going in office 5 days a week is not the right option for you, right? Like, but making it a priority. Making it a priority, okay? And I'm sharing this. Y'all know if y'all been following me for a while, I talk about this. I talk a lot about career life integration. And this is how even when I was a single mom, you guys, I had to do this. I learned these lessons, these skills decades ago because I was a single mom with two kids. I lived in one state and worked in another. My kids were in different sports, different activities. I had a demanding job. Right. So I always say I didn't balance. It was no, I'm trying to balance it all because balance felt like I was on a tightrope. I had to find a way to integrate But I was like, my job, my career is extremely important to me, but my flexibility, my family, and my freedom is priority. And when I took that kind of stance, I was able to like negotiate and work out my schedule. I was able to tell my kids, yes, I can come to these sporting events, even though I'm running late because of the traffic on 83, but I would get there. Right? I would get there. Or it became to a point where I'd be like, all right, I'm going to come in early because I know I need to leave early because I need to get to my kids' games on time. All right, or track meets. I had kids in, my daughter was in field hockey. I had another daughter in track, and then they were on, what was she on? Quiz bowl. Like they were just involved in a lot of things. And I wanted to be involved in their life, like an active, involved parent. And I was a single parent at the time, you guys. All right. So the things I'm sharing, this ain't theory. This ain't theory. This is real things. And I was still able to advance in my career, negotiate $20,000 increases, negotiate raises. Once I started my business, and I'll share more about this. I've been really thinking about having like a special workshop about how I run a six-figure business. I do have a six-figure, soon to be multiple six-figure business that I run, and I do travel. I am able to take my son to school and pick him up. Today, my son was sick, so I'm able to stay home with my son while he's sick and still do lives and still do some things involving in my business because it's an integration. It's really about disconnecting the concept of time and money and finding a different way to work. If we're trying to wrap it all up in a bow, that's what I'm saying. Right? And I know it's an interesting concept, but that is what I am saying. Okay. And if you are like, Latrice, I am loving this. Y'all know I have some workshops. I have one on interviewing. So if you're interested in the interviewing workshop, just hit interview. If you all are like, hey, I am ready, ready, ready. I want more flexibility and freedom, and I am ready to like land that leadership role and make 200K. You can either DM me ready or you can put ready in the comments and I will reach out to you. We can schedule a call and we can see how we're going to take your career to the next level while having freedom and flexibility and making 200K. All right. So that is you. You can either DM me ready or put it in the comments. All right. Here's my next tip. You got to take action. You have to take action. So once we know, we disconnect the concept of time and money. That's the overall thing. Now we take action. What that looks like, again, planning around schedules. You may have to leave work early. You may have to find a company or a role that has a hybrid or remote schedule. Maybe you work for a company that doesn't necessarily have set hours, but leaves you flexibility. And I am seeing more and more people do this where they're like, no, I want to have my schedule around my kids' schedule, or I want to have my schedule around my vacations. And now you're perfectly in your right to do that. I was reading this article about like is it Gen X or Gen X or the next generation? They're like, they don't want to work, but no, Gen X was the generation before millennials. I forget, Gen Z or something. And then somebody was like, oh, what if they have it right? They don't want to work themselves to death. Neither do I. I'm a millennial. And I was like, I have a different take on work. And I do understand I have to take action on what I want, right? So there is some action required, but you don't have to work yourself to death. Like it's not all about hard work, hard work, hard work. It's about strategic work. It's about planning for what you want and then taking action on it, right? Like for me, I plan my schedule around my son's school schedule. I take his school schedule, I put it in my calendar. When my son is off, when he's out of school, when it's a half a day, I block it on my calendar. Nobody can tell. They just know, like, oh, Latrice isn't available. I can't book a call with her. Like, nobody knows. But when I was working, that looked like if I needed to take a meeting for my daughters, if I needed to leave early, I just blocked it off. I was just like, all right, I come in early. I would have to leave early. You don't even have to tell people your business, but you do have to take actions on your priority and what's important to you. You will feel better. You will enjoy this business more. You won't feel that burnout. This is what it is when you feeling burnt out and resentful and you feel like you're in a toxic environment is because you're probably feeling constrained. You're probably feeling like you can't do what you want to do or what you need to do. And that's when you start being like the money ain't worth it. Whether you're getting paid 60,000, 100,000, or 160,000. I've seen people who are getting paid 250,000 and they still will have this concept of like it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It is not worth the sacrifice of your freedom, your flexibility, and your family. No amount of money. And on the flip side, you can have a $250,000 role. You can earn 160,000 or six figures or whatever that number is for you and have that freedom and flexibility. You're just going into it with this versus I think it's much easier to go into it like this and find something because you will attract the right companies. You will find those companies that say, "Hey, we're not like a family." If they like, we're like a family. Mm-mm. But if they say we value family, we value our employees' freedom and flexibility. We are a remote first company, or we are a hybrid and flexible company. Then you know going into it that this is what they value, right? And then commitment. You have to be committed to this. It's not like, oh, you know what? I don't see no more. Ain't nobody hiring remotely. I'm scared to ask because what if they say no and then fire me? You have to be committed. You have to be committed. And again, it is an integration. So when you're integrating your career in your life, it is not as hard. It's not a balance and everything has to be 100%. It's not, you're not walking on a tightrope. It's an integration. Right. So it's a softer approach. All right. I was like, you got the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. It's a much softer approach when there's an integration, but you're staying committed to like this is what I want, and it can look differently for every single person. Your friend may be like, hey, I want to travel 4 to 5 times a year, and I need to be able to have a 100% remote role where I can work wherever. I can work at a waterfall, I can work in Paris, I can work in Hawaii, they can work whatever. Great. And you may be like, you know what, I just want to be able to get my son, my son or daughter off the school bus, right? Like, I just want to be able to take a break, get them off the school bus, get them settled, and I don't mind going back and working, right? I don't mind like working 3 or 4 days a week in office and coming home. But you get to decide what that looks like to you, but then commit to it. The first time you hear no, you can't be like, oh, that's not going to work. The first time somebody tells you, I don't know, the job market bad, you can't be like, you know what, I'm going to give up. This ain't going to happen for me. That's not, no, you have to be committed because it will work out and it will happen, but you not force it, but you have to create it. You have to create this life in this career. Okay. So that brings me to my final tip. You will have to mute other people's voices. This is my biggest tip. When you start doing all these things and you're like, sometimes people have big things like, I want to go to school. I want to go back to school. I want to start a business. I want to grow my business. I want to advance in my career. You will always have those people that'll say, oh, this is a terrible time to start a business. You don't want to go to school. You're going to get more debt. You got a good job. Don't change that job. Are you sacrificing a great job for something good? Something great is on the other side, but you sitting there settling because of what somebody else told you. And so when I say mute other people's voices, I mean literally, if you are seeing all these things on your feed that are not aligned with your vision and your goal for your life and your career, you're going to have to mute them. You ain't got block people, just mute them. If you have well-meaning family members who, are like, well, let me play devil's advocate. Guess what? Our brains are already going there. If you're attracted to me, I know the type of person you are. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Mute them. Literally mute them in your head. Mute them, then be like, that's okay. I'm good. I've already thought about it and planned it out. Thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback and your concern. And just because somebody else has limitations, you don't want to put those limitations on you. All right. Let me check. I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments here. All right. So if you all have any questions, let me know. If you are like Latrice, I am loving this. Again, DM me ready. I am also going to be doing more trainings. If you would like me to either come in person or virtually and speak or train at your organization or association, just DM me. DM me training. We will chat. I'll see what you all need. We do customized training. So I am so excited to be telling you all about that. And one of the big things that I've really been talking about at companies and at like ERGs and things like that is this concept of career life integration. So we got personal branding, and then we also have career life integration, you guys. If a company wants to keep their employees, this is a skill you definitely want them to have. If you are an employee or a business owner and you're feeling stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like I have to sacrifice or choose, you want to learn this concept of career life integration. It's a softer approach. And yes, you can do it and you can have it. All right. So I'm so excited, you guys. Feel free to comment, feel free to DM me. I love having your DMs, and I will see you all next week. All right, bye.